Hey guys, it is Matt and Austin here with your weekly talkthrough from the Daily Walkthrough with your most important gaming news and esports news from this past week. This week we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We got a couple real big stories. The first has a little bit to do with Nintendo, right Austin?
Yep. So the Nintendo Switch sold over 17.79 million copies. Or rather, rather that's the exact amount that they sold.
Almost 18 million.
Yeah. And they're reported to sell around 20 million more copies like during the next fiscal year.
Yeah, the projection of 20 million copies over this next fiscal year, in part due to some software coming out. Smash Brothers, the new Smash Brothers that will be playable at E3 also announced this week. And of course some other games maybe, but come on, it's mostly Smash. So we'll see how much Smash helps propel Switch sales this upcoming year, how much sort of the Switch hype has continued to build over the past year with the releases of course, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, which of course have been sort of the flagship games for the Switch. And the other thing with Nintendo, of course, is there's been a little bit of a move among the executives.
Yeah. So the previous president, Tatsumi Kimishima, who took over after the passing of Satoru Iwata, is actually going to be stepping down, or rather retiring, on June 28th. And replacing him will be Shintaro Furukawa, who is a pretty young president. He's actually 46 years old. So, like, with him, bring a lot of hopes of, bringing Nintendo forward into the next generation of gaming.
Well, yeah, we'll see what you can do. Maybe Nintendo becomes a little bit more of a more hip, young company. Probably cut that, Josh. But that being said, the thing to note is that the new president actually speaks super fluent English, right? So maybe this will underscore a little bit more communication with the Americas market from Nintendo, just more communication in general, because Nintendo's always sort of been quiet as far as communicating with their consumers. So we'll see if things change. Our second topic for the day has something to do with that one game that's taking over the entirety of the world and everybody in it, Fortnite. So Fortnite is now officially the biggest free-to-play console game ever. Just in March, it made $223 million in revenue. And we're talking about, this is a free-to-play game. This is all microtransactions. This is all skins. This is all the Battle Pass, which is, of course, the very popular thing people buy in order to progress further into the game and unlock additional cosmetics. And dang, this thing, there's no stopping Fortnite right now. It is Steam train, just on the track. It is a crazy train, some might say, if your name is Ozzy.
I understood that.
That's good. Maybe they will too.
Yeah, hopefully they will, for everyone who's watching.
But yeah, so obviously you can't really say, it's not quite in the same company as other free-to-play PC games, sparking the names like, League of Legends or something like that, who a couple $1 million here and there.
Pretty big.
So maybe Fortnite gets there one day if the success continues over. I mean, League's been popular almost for a decade now, so who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get there.
It's a very strong start, though.
Strong start. A $250 million in a month almost is nothing to sneeze at. So, moving on to Fortnite's sort of companion in the battle royale space, PUBG. PUBG released arguably the biggest patch since release, maybe except for just the 1.0 update where they added like vaulting and stuff. But certainly post 1.0, it is the biggest gameplay change that PUBG has seen. It is essentially a complete overhaul of weapon damage. They're adding a whole bunch of new weapon attachments that sort of allow you to customize what you're doing. They allow you to customize your guns much better. Map select.
Yep, map selection.
And a whole bunch of other just sort of balance changes. So that's really neat. You have something to say about PUBG's tournament.
Oh, yeah.
That was also announced this week.
So yeah, they just announced the PUBG invitational for actually coming out later this year. And I think the way that works is they're going to be inviting a bunch of different teams from basically like every region. And it's going to be a huge event, basically.
Yeah, it's a very global tournament. They broke down, it's going to be 20 teams that are invited. It's very broken down by region. So I think the most teams any region will have, like North America,
In Europe.
China, Korea. I think they'll have like 3 teams, but then there are much lesser known regions that will have some representation too.
Yeah.
Like I know the Middle East has a team, just off the top of my head. There's a whole bunch of other interesting regions that are getting teams. So you can go check that out. The things to note about this tournament are it will be happening in late July. This is the first tournament officially sponsored by PUBG Corporation. This is like they are putting it on. So this is the Riot putting on the LCS of PUBG. This is not a Gamescom tournament. This is not like a DreamHack tournament. This is it's not an ESL tournament. This is PUBG Corp putting this on, and they're definitely trying to showcase their game. They're trying to showcase the potential of the esport side of PUBG to everybody. So it's a really big deal to them, and the prize pool will be $2 million.
Pretty big.
It's pretty big, and when you consider it's only going to be split amongst 20 people, I'll take it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
So that actually allows us to move on to our last topic of this video, which is League of Legends blowing up its entire competitive ladder. Obviously, it won't be happening yet, but this week it was announced that some big changes will be coming in 2019, right, Austin?
Yep. So first of all, with these changes, they're going to be adding, I believe, 2 new tiers to each division. So would you want to explain more about that?
So essentially, you have your classic sort of tiers, right? Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, etc. What we've heard so far, and all of this, of course, is sort of pending because it won't be happening until next year. But there will be 2 new tiers added, somewhere between, I think, silver and gold and platinum, I think is where they said it's going to be.
I think they mentioned it for diamond as well.
Oh, is it? It might
diamond.
be. So it might be like in between silver and gold, and then like platinum, diamond, or something like that. And they're also going to be cutting down the number of divisions within those tiers. So bronze 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to just 4. So it'll be bronze 4, 3, 2, 1. The other big thing of note is that as a player, you will have separate ELO. Of course, ELO meaning sort of where you sit, your ranking. It's just sort of a term.
It's basically your ranking.
So you will have separate ratings for different positions. So depending on what you queue up as, if you're a jungle main, you might be maybe like a plat 5 jungler, but when you queue up as an AD carry, maybe you need to be carried a little bit. So maybe you're a silver 1 AD carry. But that will reflect in your profile. So your ELO will actually change based on what you're playing that game, which is a very interesting change. I've seen it be very polarized so far within the community. Some people really like the idea. Some people are angry.
Yeah.
But then again, Reddit's always angry.
Yeah. And it's going to be great for people like who've always wanted to play a different role or a different lane, but they couldn't because they were afraid of affecting their current ELO. But now with this new system, they're free to try out other lanes without worrying about their overall ELO.
Yeah, and that's obviously, that's like the one side of the argument, right? That's like the positive side of the argument. And the negative side as well. I mean, if I'm a jungle main and I get autofilled to support, do I care about, like, I don't care. Also, like, what am I don't believe that. That's silly. If you don't care about a game that much, you probably should just not play. But that's just me. Obviously, like I've said a couple times, this is 2019. This is way in the future. And Riot said within their dev update, they want to hear feedback from the community. That's why they're releasing all these details so early. They want to hear from the players because they need to shape the experience around players. So if you think this is great or if you think this is terrible, Riot wants to hear from you so they can change things up before it's too late to change things up. So that's your weekly talkthrough from Austin and Matt with the daily walkthrough with your biggest news in gaming and esports. I wonder if the mic picked that up.
Probably did.
Haha. If the mic picked that up, leave it in.